And we're back for more games. The finals of the higher bracket about to start. Team Series versus Team Vounghuard. Who is your favorite to win this one, Jack?
Oof, my favorite? Me. Nah.
I'm
The
100% sure that you wouldn't win this one.
but the 1v5 coming through. No. Favorites coming into this one. I mean, Team Series was really strong yesterday. They played very, very, very well yesterday. With Safa coming in very strong in their second game, Velia coming in very strong in their um, first game on the Lilia. So they do have quite some power there. But looking at this past game that Team Vanguard, Vounghuard, Wangy just won, for now, to me, it's a very big 50-50, and it's gonna depend a lot on how the first game actually goes. I think if first game is a stomp, it's just gonna be 2-0 because the other team is gonna have to bounce back really hard after that, which is, in my opinion, gonna be very difficult. So at this point, it's a 50-50. I'm leaning maybe a bit towards Team Vanguard just because they had this game to warm up, not to take away from the their opponent's um, performance there. But they have one game in their hands already. Team Series is actually going in cold. So I'm leaning a bit towards Vanguard, but basically 50-50.
I gotta say, you do have the the morale, let's say, that you see for Vanguard here, but they have a curse against them, and that is what I'm worried about because there hasn't been a single game this scouting grounds where red side has won. Blue side has won every single game so far, and series who demolished their opponents yesterday, they have the blue side again. So I'm kind of worried for this trend that we're seeing that they're gonna push it through and keep those blue sides going. Of course, when they win this one, or if they would win this one, they have to go red side. Who knows how that is gonna turn out? Is blue side better than red side? What are the win percentages now? Do you know that?
Sorry?
Is blue side better than red side? Do you know the win?
Overall, what are the win percentages, or what
Yeah,
are the win
yeah,
percentages?
overall, because there's one side that does more than the
Um,
other.
no, but in this scouting grounds, it's 100% blue side at this point.
Yeah, but in general, there is also one side that
Yeah,
has a
no,
little
I
bit
have no
more.
idea which side is better in preseason here. I don't know. I do not know the.
Well, maybe after this game it is swung in favor of the blue side. Anyway, we're flying right into that draft phase. Zafa, first one to ban and immediately taking out the Graves.
Graves, not something they want to give away in the hands of Gayul or Fighter, both playing it. Touched on that yesterday a couple of times. Both the jungler and the mid laner on red side this game are able to pick up that Graves, so they don't want to be facing the flex pick. Nerea yesterday playing Nico top, not successfully, may I add, and now taking that away from Safa, does not want to see it be played against him. And then there is the Cassidy band, very targeted band here. The Gayul, sorry, it's not Nico, it's Lilia, of course, being banned away there from Djibouti. I was a little bit in confusion mode there.
And it's nice to see that they're really targeting the picks that have been played in these scouting rounds. Zafa, amazing game on the Shen, not being able to do that this time. And Gyul being targeted as a little bit of a one-trick pony. Kassadin, after the games yesterday, will not be able to do it. Lucian, of course, still open, which he played very well last game. Was able to pick it early as well. And there will be no Samira and no Jin, so that will give some variety in the AD carries, because of course those are two picks that we've seen a lot this scouting grounds. Expecting an Ezreal Misfortune maybe going through for them, but definitely gonna see some variety there.
we saw last Scouting Grounds as well, Jin and Samira, if they get banned, and we see the likes of Misfortune with the lethality build, we see the likes of a Vayne, for example, being played in the bottom lane. But right now, up until now, Lular's Swain has been banned every time. At this point, it's open. So they could go for the Swain. I really want to see Swain's Lular. Nope, Lular's Swain.
I want to see Swain's Lular. That's the one I want to see.
Swain's Lular. No, I want to see Lular play Swain, as they do pick up another Lucian here. Most likely going to Gayul again, but it's a very, very, very big flex. We can go top, can go mid, can go AD. Most likely top or mid in these games lately. But I'm assuming he's gonna go away to Gayul. I want to see Swain. I want to see Swain.
Yeah, of course Gil just played the same matchup against Orianna, so he is warmed up totally for that game.
Oh yay!
Of course Bendix yesterday playing a very mean Orianna, who absolutely was destroying his enemies. Might be able to change this matchup a little bit. And Ezreal, as expected, coming through here on the red side. Misfortune still open for blue, but of course the Swain! He is gonna play it. It's amazing, and I would be surprised to see Evelyn here, because Swain is not easily assassinated. Can of course build the Zhonya, and is quite tanky, so not the burst potential that you would have on another pick. But this is amazing. It also means that they're gonna pick something that has a form of CC in the bot lane, which Swain can use to activate his passive on. The Nautilus is still open to be played. Was still open. He's going to get the banhammer, but we have an Alistar and a Rakan, who is also something that Smarty is not ashamed of playing that.
Yeah, the Nautilus was open. At this point, I guess they could pick up a Leona. Thresh, of course, is still in there. Banning away the Morgana, I like that a lot. There's a lot of CC probably gonna come through for the rest of the blue side here. So banning away the Morgana is a very big thing, and now that Thresh has been banned, it's gonna be more and more difficult to actually pair up with a Swain in bot lane at this point. But there are still options along the likes of maybe Alistar, maybe Leona. The thing is that if they go in and then Swain pulls their target back, it could turn into an awkward situation.
Yeah, but normally if you can land that CC, you're just not gonna move anymore. You can just let your mouse go and it's over, because they're never gonna let you go. With Ezreal, you do have the potential of going for some sort of poke lane, because Swain, not really the easiest champion to last hit early on, definitely if you're being harassed. And if you want someone with CC, it's usually something tanky that is melee as well. And they're going for the Twitch pick, which totally blows my mind if this is an AP Twitch support, or this has to be a placeholder almost. Are we getting something in? That is a placeholder?
We are getting something in. Twitch is Bard.
The Bard!
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, so Ezreal Bard is very poke heavy. Pretty high range as well. So they could make Swain's life a bit more miserable. And Rakan and Malphite getting locked in really, really quickly. Rakan, of course, CC for Swain as well. Gonna be able to do quite a lot with him.
Yeah, and they have a comp that just screams engage, engage, engage on the blue side now, with a little bit of a Bronzonia style there. Orianna, Malphite can just press R and go in. And then of course you have the Swain Rakan, who will make sure that you're not gonna move anytime soon. And there is not much assassination potential on that team of the blue side, because of course Orianna a little bit more tanky than the other mid laner would be, because of the extra bonuses that she gets from the ball. And then you have an AD carry who is not an AD carry, but a Swain that can kind of just build some tanky stats as well. Used to build a Rod of Ages, so not sure how he's gonna fill up that gap now with the new items.
And it seems like Rakan was a placeholder, so Rakan is Alistar. So eventually the Alistar, as we expected, does come through. Rakan, of course, was an option, but they do decide to go for the Alistar, which seemed like a bit of a better pick here. Has more of that frontline potential. than the Rakan, as we do go back into the draft again for the remake because of placeholders. Bard Ezreal in the bottom lane, and we do see another Mundo this game, but this time it's going to be top lane. So Nerea 2 games in a row playing a tank. What happened?
Nerea had success last game, of course, with the Ornn. Now being put back on the tank duty. And Mundo against Malphite is actually a pretty good matchup for him, because as Malphite you can go two ways. You can either max your Q with some sort of meteor in the build that you can poke him down, but Mundo does have some sustain once he gets a few items. So maybe early on he can try that, but probably not gonna work. So how are you gonna deal with that? Might have to focus more on that W with the hits, some grass procs maybe to go head to head, but yeah, Mundo fares fairly well in those tank matchups, just with the percentage health damage on his cleavers. So gonna be hard for Sava to have the same impact as yesterday with his Shen.
Your emperor shall return.
I'm actually glad that we're seeing Nerea on these tanks. Yes, it's fun to see him on the Camille, on the Fiora, etc. But it's fun to finally see that this tank meta, I guess-ish, is being shown here in the Scouting Grounds as well. Of course, where every single player wants to showcase their own skill and wants to showcase what they can do, which boils down to, look at my mechanics, I'm the best in the world. But that doesn't always mean it's the best suit for the team. And in this case, they are going for the tanks top lane. Eventually, after all these Scouting Grounds games, they realize that, you know what, maybe that's pretty strong. Blue side, heavy engage, as you said. What is red side's game?
Red side's game, they definitely need to do something early on, because they do have the advantage bot lane that they're both ranged. They can put some poke in pre-6, once they do not have that combo available and the tankiness that their ult gives. So they need to capitalize there. Same goes for Lucian. Also very, very strong early game, should take over the lane and put prio on it. And actually only the top lane will be fairly similar. Don't expect too much action there. However, it's of course Sava against Nerea, who have an unsettled feud after the Nico game yesterday. Probably Nerea looking to equal its score.
Find revenge.
A bit of revenge there for the disgrace that happened to him. But I expect Pfizer to do some invades there, just since that he has all that pressure of their laners on mid and bot. So gonna try to capitalize that there. But if the game takes long, might be very hard. You do not want to go in a full team fight on equal grounds against the team comp of seerees there.
Alright, we are waiting to go into the first game of the finals here. Scouting Grounds, it's a best of 3 between these two teams. Team Series blue side this game versus Team Vounghuard on the red side this game. Both teams, of course, wanting to close it out, wanting to find that first victory to put them ahead to actually be able to win this Scouting Grounds. And a fun little fact is Nerea actually won the last Scouting Grounds, so if he does it again, he gets 2 in a row, meaning win condition is Nerea, basically.
He is fishing for that MVP again. So
looking for an MVP, yes.
Could happen, depending of course on his performance from the Mundo. Scary Mode wasn't really able to get to the point where Mundo goes where he pleases. Maybe Nerea will be able to do that. They are against a team that are very heavy AP. Only Gibotta is really gonna bring the AD damage, unless of course Zafa goes some crazy Triforce Malphite build, which is possible, but haven't seen it yet.
But highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely. So Nerea is gonna be a big value factor for them once he is able to get those magic resist items. The same as last game, when it was possible for him to go full AD, but now it's the other way around. And yeah, just as the Evelyn last game, Kha'Zix is not really gonna be the one that wants to focus a Mundo with so much health, even if he doesn't have much armor. Will be able to stall quite a lot, but He has to be able to move, and CC is the best friend of the blue side at this point.
CC is everybody's best friend except the one receiving it, which is strange because mostly if you get things, you're happy, but if you get CC, you're not the happiest person.
If you get smacked in the face, are you happy? Be very careful with your answer.
With your words. Be very careful with your answer and with your words. Anyways, Evelyn gonna look for some picks, of course, with her team Bard Ultimate. Gonna be setting up some extra damage potentials after that. Hopefully we don't see a Bard ult denying Ezreal's True Shot Barrage. Something that would be a classic move in lower elos. Happens in higher elos as well, so it could perfectly be the case here. But of course, hoping for the guys on Team Vanguard to not have that happen for them. Lucian, Gaiul's Lucian had a great game last game versus their opponents there. Probably maybe MVP that game. So giving him that Lucian again is saying, you know what, we saw you play the Lucian. We know you're good at it. Versus the Orianna even. We're just gonna pick the same thing against your Lucian, but this time make you suffer. I hope that's what they're gonna do. So I want to see if that's actually possible, because you know I rest my case. I think Lucian or Orianna, it's Lucian favorite. So picking the Orianna again, dangerous.
Especially early on, it's Lucian favorite, because late game, of course, you have an Orianna in your team who gives so much zone control. And then it's very scary to go in as a Lucian, because you will take the damage that she's dishing out. So you have to make sure that you get out of the lane fine, just as Gil of course did last game. He ended the game 8-8, which was very much noticeable in the damage that he was dishing out with, of course, the press the attack and the Kraken Slayer combo. Might want to tone him down this game, because it was the same combo. Of course, Evelyn Lucian that was totally destroying Orianna last game. Let's see how they will cope with that this game. We're blasting off on the Rift, and yeah, let the finals begin.
And it looks like I was wrong. Nerea actually already has 2 Scouting Grounds victories on his name, so this would be the third one, the three-peat, the Team THRLL Sox win. As has been called out here in chat, as we are on the Rift here for the first game of these best of 3 finals between Team Series on the blue side, Team Vanguard on the right side. Hopefully not as many pauses as the first game we saw here today, so we can get straight into the action, as it does look like both teams are going to set up the Great Wall of China and not go for any crazy early game shenanigans.
Don't wanna risk it early on, of course. This is the finals, and you wanna make sure that you are in that comfortable 1-0 position at the end of this first game. For now, 0-0, everything can happen, and they do not have the best invade team. After all, we've seen some Nautiluses, some Thrashes who have that crazy hook potential, and here maybe if Luller starts with his E feeling frisky, but it's not the case. Both junglers gonna start red, and maybe meet each other for a little handshake on the bottom lane for our first gank. We'll have to see how that goes. I'm expecting blue side to get pushed in pretty hard, so Gibraltar might do some crazy shenanigans from the start again, who knows?
The blue side warding in the enemy blue buff, so want to see where they're starting, where they're going, and so on and so forth. Both junglers starting on the same side of the map. Top side of the map is the way to go this game, apparently. Both Evelyn and Kha'Zix choose to start at their red and blue buff respectively, as they will wander their way to a full clear, most likely on both sides, to start off the game and be looking for some early ganks, hopefully, although it might be difficult to get off with an Evelyn and a Kha'Zix.
I absolutely love the new change that they done to tier, that you can now buy it as a starter item. I know some people will not be a big fan, but I like that my first back isn't to buy a tier. Is that I always hated that as Ezreal, that you're like, okay, I can buy finally my tier to get it stacking, but I don't have any real stats like AD to help me last hit better, because you know, you have those games that you can't hit a minion to save your life, and that tier doesn't help. So I'm glad that they made it like you can actually have a buy that feels more powerful when you return in lane now.
There is, of course, for both teams in the bottom lane mainly, a lot of setup for the junglers to come in. They don't have a lot of CC for their own. Evelynn has that charm, but needs to land, it needs to charge as well. Kha'Zix has a slow, but that'll be all. They, of course, have, as I said before, the setup with the Bard stun, with Alistar's combo, and Swain following that up with his grab and pull on his claw. So both junglers
They're
might
searching for Kha'Zix.
Gank there, as Kha'Zix is on the opposite side of the jungle. Gonna go hard on Fighter here, gets exhausted.
Wow.
Fight's not gonna survive that first, but is for you, Djibouti. And he picks up the first kill gold of the game, and also the first little Krabby going his way here.
Well played by the blue side there, because at some point there were 3 people around Djibouti ready to basically get a first blood on him, but suddenly, whole blue side as well there, and they burst Fighter during the Alistar combo. Nothing to do about it, wasn't even able to flash. And getting a first kill on Djibouti, that's where it went wrong as well in the previous game, so maybe he can transition this into a crazy game as we've seen him before, but now he is biting off a little bit more than he can chew, I think.
He's going very deep, gets ignited there as well by Lucian, as also Bard in the bottom lane had to use his flash to get out of that one. You can see immediately the CC, the combination that is possible with this Swain Alistar. Alistar just jumps in, then they get pulled back by the Swain, which can be troublesome. Bendix going pretty hard here. Gil does decide to not fight back too long, is of course behind in level, but now Fighter is in the lane here. Bendix is gonna have to flash away, it's not gonna kill him. Maybe Fighter does eventually pick it up, but gets traded on by the turret, and now we have another pause, because game of the day is pause as long as we can.
That was a questionable play, maybe if they can shove in the wave here, but of course Bendix has the teleport to get back in the lane, and handing a kill over to the mid lane and taking 1-1 jungler. I'm not sure if that is really the play you want to make, as first blood was already taken. It's not like it's more gold, only the assist for the Lucian, I guess you can count in, but we'll have to see how that will impact that 1v1. I think that Bendix is not too sad about it. The questions are coming in. Rage quit DC, who knows? I think it is another technical issue that they'll solve very soon. Meanwhile, we see Zafa being able to shove in that wave under the turret for Nerea, and he is quite happy to farm there. Of course, Mundo not the most difficult champion to last hit under the turret with the cleavers and the sadism at your disposal.
At your disposal, as they are back in the game, reconnecting, close to being ready to start up the game again. We have been able to go longer than the first time. I mean, 4 minutes and 50 seconds, 50 something seconds is better than 56 seconds total. So, you know, winning at this point for the spectators. Giggity. Also, first Drake of the game, first Drake of the game. Ocean Drake, not going to see that pop up on the Soul or the Rift this time around. Could once again go for a Mounted Soul, of course, which this game is very interesting for blue side, not so much for red side. They would rather see a Cloud or preferably, of course, the Inferno.
Smarty making sure the wards are cleaned up, pink wards in a line, so Fighter can't come there unseen once he hits 6 on that Evelynn. Little root coming through, and you see that Electrocute, quite dangerous. Teleport coming in as well.
Teleport coming in from behind, meaning Safa is part of the party, does not have the Unstoppable Force yet, decides to not continue the fight onto Rusty Sniper. Also Nerea part of the fight with his teleport on his part. A lot of flashes coming through here. Melix does not have his flash anymore and gets dove upon in the middle of the lane by 4 people as Mundo goes very low, gets completely ignored eventually. And they just say, you know what guys, we don't want Mundo, we want Ezreal. They eventually do find him here for a 2-0, I believe.
2 kills and especially one on Luller's Swain. 1-0-2, the Swain pick, the one that we really wanted to see from him, because he's from the AD carries in this Scouting Grounds the only one who has that in his pocket pick arsenal, let's say, and he's bring it out here with a lot of confidence, of course. Very scary lane to do these kinds of fights where everyone TPs in and you just have the CC to make sure that Rusty and Melix are not gonna escape quite as easily as they normally should be able to as a Bard and Ezreal. So it's nice to see that they can collapse there. And yeah, the Zafa with his teleport pre-6, not something you would expect from a Malphite.
Yeah, pre-6 Malphite teleport, of course, making it difficult for him to actually have an impact on the game there, or at least on the fight there. Doesn't really have a lot to bring to a fight if he doesn't have his ult. Yes, he can slow your attack speed, but he needs to be in your face. Yes, he can slow your movement speed, but he needs to be rather close. And that's something that at this point in the game is not going to change the tides of the fight. However, despite all that, he did win the fight with his team, so it was a good teleport.
Yeah, and okay, you don't have an ultimate, but there's still a rock gonna punch in your face, so I would still be scared if I saw the TP behind me, so fair play from him. And Narea keeping that 0-0-0 intact, even with the TP. A little Hex Flash coming in.
Hex Flash, Alistair coming in. I believe Rusty Sniper had already used his Essence Flux
trouble
here. Not 100% sure. Gonna use True Shot Barrage there. The Essence Flux does come through. Had not seen it correctly. Ignite is popped. Heal by Rusty Sniper. And then gets the extra heal and movement speed from Melix Bard, who comes in just in time to find his AD carry into the safer parts of the map.
You can see the pressure that they're able to put on their Narea. In trouble, is healing. There is no healing direction available. Can he get out?
And the rest of his team is following a lot of early upfront damage. And if that does not take the kill, it's gonna look more and more difficult as they are gonna go in for the chase of
No
Zafa
flash,
right
no
now.
ult.
He's really tanky, no flash, no ult, but he does go, and thus he does go down eventually to the turnaround gank, I guess. They didn't find Mundo, and then it turned around, giving up a kill onto Malphite.
Well played from the side of Vounghuard. Good from Narea, that he's able to get out, stay cool, wait for his team to group up. And Smarty just denying Fighter in the pit. This is very well played by him, giving them the opportunity to freely pick up that Herald. What a denial. Just eating him out.
Headbutting him out of the pit, just saying to the enemy junglers, no, you're not allowed to be part of this fight. This is our Herald now, your smite is not part of this, and we are gonna see you later. Both teams fairly even in goal at this point. The kills are in favor of blue side, but that doesn't mean all that much right now, as Herald does go to them, which is gonna give them some extra pressure. Which team, once again, wants to go more in the late game? Which team wants to finish this game early?
As we said, you have the right side, the red side, that wants to make the early plays, because you have the Lucian that definitely shines in the early laning phase, and of course range advantage from Rusty and Malik do help there. But as it's going now, Chibota already very strong, and they're making the right plays at the right time. And I wanna touch on the play that Smarty made there in the pit one more time, because he knocked Fighter out of the pit, but it's not so easy to say I'm gonna do that, because usually when you're playing Alistar, you have WQ, it's like programmed in your brain, so you could say I'm gonna knock her up and we have to kill her. No, you just choose I'm gonna knock her out, and that's it. So very smart play by him there.
More than enough as Rusty Sniper does go in for a big chase there, but the re-engage by Alistar comes through. Exhaust on to Kha'Zix is not going to be enough, as Rusty Sniper does take up the kill for himself with the True Shot Barrage. Djibouti going really deep. Did not expect Lucian to be there. Gets spotted out, gets taken down, and also Evelyn picking up her second kill, sorry, this game, and now Luller might be in trouble. Gayu has red buff on him to proc the slow, the burn onto Luller's Swain, which does not get out due to the red buff slowing him down. And yes, red side wants to do some early shenanigans with the Lucian, with the Ezreal maybe. But on the other side, if they get 30, 35 minutes into the game, who's gonna take down the Mundo?
Mundo is a problem from the start, of course. You have a fairly AP heavy team with only Djibouti gonna provide some AD damage, so Nerea can be very problematic at some point. But you have the press R combo, and you might get into a situation where all the ults are being blown by blue side and the only one still alive is Nerea, because everyone else just melted away. And that is exactly what you want to do. You want to CC them to death, but there is no counterplay possible. And now there is gonna be a skirmish for that second Drake of the game.
It's gonna be an Infernal Drake. Both teams want to pick this one up for the extra bit amount of damage here. Looks like Pfizer is gonna run away from there, but is gonna be able to pick up the Drake. Alistar is taken down, as well as Evelyn eventually does go down. Swain picking up a kill on Lucian here. Big damage dealer going down there, and now Nerea has to use his flash to get out of this one. Turns into a 3v3. Both teams not really interested in continuing this fight. However, it does look like red side wants to continue to chase. 2v3 because Nerea is not part of this anymore.
Wow!
Going way too deep there, and did not expect Kha'Zix to still be there in the wings. He just gets pooped from 100 to 0 in no time.
Great play from Djibouti. They're just staying in the brush, ready to jump on the AD carry. And the burst that's coming out of him already, so huge and very scary to be a backliner at that point of the game. However, Nerea, 3-0,
X-Flash.
might be in trouble here.
X-Flash coming in there from Alistar, bringing Neelix into a lot of trouble, a world of trouble. Luller picking that kill up for himself. Eventually it does go down. Safa gets picked up, so it is a 2-for-1 in favor of red side. However, it did look like they had the flank with the Alistar. It did not turn out really well for them.
And I just want to say, Nerea 3-0, looking very strong. It's 4-0-1 now. That is very problematic going for that Mercurial threats, because of course the CC is immense on the side of Vounghuard. But for the rest of the game, it's going fairly even, and it's actually the first game that we've seen so far that isn't a complete takeover from one side of the game, so it's nice to see that these two teams are very much matching each other. The question is, which team fight, which moment is one side going to be able to take over this game and put it in their favor, because they both have one Drake. They both have almost equal kills, the goals almost even. It's very hard to say who is leading the pace of this game at this moment.
At this moment it looks like it's gonna be Djibouti and Luller fighting against the likes of Nerea and Gayul. So a lot of damage and a tank versus a lot of damage and a even more tank. So you know, it's gonna be an interesting game, as Nerea is gonna go for the fight here against Safa. Of course, we touched on this a little earlier in the draft phase, where Nerea did lose his lane yesterday, or at least lose the game yesterday, with his Nico against Safa's Shen. And it looks right now that Safa has a lot less impact than Nerea has, but Pfizer on the other hand has a lot of it.
He just... Well, it's not a one-shot because Lura was already a little bit low, but still, he just went for it, and yeah, that's the power of Evelyn, and Pfizer definitely knows how to play the champion. Bendix in problem now.
The taunt was mistimed. Great shocker there by Bendix, saving his own life basically. Eventually it's only Evelyn who does go down. Now Djibouti is part of the fight almost. Melix getting out of that one. Gayul not in a very nice spot. Gets slow, triple kill coming in from Djibouti, and it's a bit of a flashback, a bit of a deja vu from his Lilia game yesterday, picking up 2 triple kills and 2 quadra kills, I believe. This could be the first of many.
Very scary to see Djibouti getting fed again. You get like these post-traumatic stress disorder from his Lilia game earlier this scouting rounds, and you really do not want to see that again, because then the game is basically over if he starts repeating that story again. They're able to pick this Herald up because of the picks that they were able to do, and that's gonna make sure that they can play the game in their pace, get some more gold in, and especially not make it so the team of Rhea is gonna push harder than they already are.
That previous fight, Eve mistiming the charm on Orianna, making it so that Orianna can actually get out and Eve dies. So the fight would have been probably a 180-degree difference if that charm was actually timed better. Of course, micro misplays can always happen, not something to be too worried about, as both teams are still very even in gold, 1 Drake each. It is a Mountain Soul, which is a lot more interesting for blue side than for red side. Of course, they do want to see a Mountain Soul on Mundo and just take it away from the Malphite, Swain, and Alistar on the other side.
Red side is in position for the Drake. It's blue side time to interrupt this, or they're gonna give it up for free. Bursting it very fast. This is gonna be picked up by red side.
Red side picking that up rather freely. Evelyn using her last caress to jump out of that one, but now it looks like Rhea might be in trouble. Gonna pop that ultimate. There's quite a lot of anti-healing due to that Ignite on top of him. True shot barrage coming through. Looks like a big fight.
Wow!
Kind of want to disengage, re-engage. Don't know what's going on there. Yule takes so much damage. Gets taken down. Same goes for Melix. A great re-engage also by Alistar coming through there. Now Nerea, without his ultimate, is going to be taken down as well. And maybe even more, as the chase is on Bendix. Strange position there, but he is basically looking fine.
That fight was so unnecessary for the red side. They got the Drake. Sorry, for yeah, for red side, they got the Drake. They were out, and they check again. They walk forward. Of course, blue side used all their ultimates in the engage. And they felt like, okay, we can take this fight, but Chobota with, again, a position in the brush where they don't expect him, able to pick up Gil very early in that fight and then totally turning it in their favor. So, okay, you get the Drake, but the fight is definitely in favor of the blue side, and they get some more money into their pocket. So, if they can keep the transition up, it's possible that the next Drake is gonna be theirs for the taking, because they won't be able to compete anymore. But I would not recommend fully engaging on the Rhea next time, because that almost cost them very dearly.
Yeah, the engage on a tank Mundo is probably not the best way to go, as we, by the way, don't see a lot of anti-heal at this point. Not to say no anti-heal at this point. Of course, it's basically only Mundo who is going to be healing that much. Yes, Bard has some heals, but don't really need to care about those ones. So I'm expecting Orianna to go eventually for a Morellonomicon here, to have at least something to try and deal with the Dr. Mundo later on, because once again, if he gets 1 or 2 more items, I don't see him dying ever.
Yeah, he just ate every ultimate of the blue side's team except for Bendix, and he walked out with 30% HP in that fight. So it was not like a situation where he just got away. No, there was still room for him to take some damage. So it's a very good sign for the team of Vounghuard at this point, that they have that frontliner that can soak up the damage and give them the time to fight back. But they're gonna have to make sure that they know where Chobota is at all times, because that's 2 times in a row that he is able to pick up one of the AD carries that is just walking forward without noticing where he is. So really good positioning by him. And I think Gale and Rusty Sniper will have learned their lesson so far. And a good denial from Melix for the charge of the Herald here. Might be able to save the turret because of that.
Yeah, Herald's charge comes onto a golden turret. It looks like they are eventually going to be able to take that down nonetheless. So the Bard ultimate Tempered Fate, not enough to save his tower. And at this point, blue side has basically taken every objective that's possible for them at this point in time. All 3 outer turrets have gone down. They've taken a Drake. There's no Drake at this point anymore. And they've taken the Rift Herald and actually used it to put it to good use. What does blue side do at this point? What does red side do at this point? Do they freeze waves? Do they try to force fights? Are they looking for picks? What are we expecting?
Yeah, the fact that blue side is able to push so many turrets gives them that gold advantage over the board, and yeah, makes them quite strong in the upcoming team fights, combined with their comp with press R. You have a red side with an Evelyn, who is not looking too weak at the moment, and that's where you have to make sure that you get the picks and also give Nerea the resources that he needs to become this unkillable monster, because he's still the guy that is gonna be forming the most problems for blue side, because they only have Djibouti on the Kazakhs who will be able to deal some 80 damage to him. So I would want them to go into tandem and just kill this Malphite on the bot lane, because he will not be able to survive if they go for him. And besides that, you have some threat of poke to put on blue side if they would want to threat for the Baron. So would be a good idea to go for that play at the moment.
While we are talking about this, look at Mundo. He's taking a lot of damage, but he's able to survive a lot of damage as well. I would expect him to be dead by now, but there's no dead Mundo on my screen yet, as red side does find the double kill for Evelyn. And look at this guy, he's just running away. Kha'Zix does eventually find the damage. Mundo's ultimate had run out by the time the camera panned back down to him. Sadism was no longer active, and now this next Drake is gonna be started.
4v3.
Red side. It is a 4v3 in favor of blue side. They don't have the unstoppable force. They don't have Swain's ult. Sorry, Swain's dead, of course. They don't have unstoppable force on blue side to actually try and counter this.
Djibouti
on Djibouti finding the damage. Evelyn going down. There's no more jungler there. Finds a double kill again. Looking like they're gonna win this fight really easily. Triple kill. Is this gonna be a quadra kill for Kha'Zix? It is gonna be the quadra kill for him. Oh my Jesus, what is this guy even doing? We talked about it. He picks up 2 triple kills and 2 quadra kills on Lilia a couple of games ago. Now he finds a triple kill, and after that, not a lot later, finds the quadra kill. This guy is 12-1 and 2. What do you do about this guy?
I should have been so scared of this scenario as well, because we talked about it when he was 6-1. Like, he's going to go in that crazy Lilia state that he was in the other game. He's gonna do it again, and here he picks up the quadra kill, the Drake, and the Baron for his team. Like, an unbelievable performance, especially in a 3v4 around the Dragon Pit. That is quite some positioning, and yeah, you might also have to ask some questions about the red side, how they were going into that fight, how they wanted to do it, because obviously Djibouti is now the guy to watch in those fights. You really need to know where and how he can play those fights, and make sure that you focus and see him down. And that is a little bit of a lack in the comp of the red side, that they do not have that immediate CC that they can apply on an assassin like Kha'Zix. What the blue side of course do have, so he's free to jump around on those targets as he pleases, and there's not much of a solution at hand unless they can pick him off before a fight.
Now it looks like Alistar is looking for another engagement. They have picked up, of course, the Baron in the meanwhile. They're going to use this Baron power play to push down some extra turrets, get some more ground on this map to move around when and where they want to. Not looking very great for red side, as Evelyn does find the pick onto Bendix. Was not expecting him to actually find that, and now Nerea, it's going to be all on you for this game to actually be able to turn this around against a 12-1.
Engage comes.
Engage is definitely coming in. Mundo, look at that, he's tanking a lot, but so much damage. Djibouti actually runs in behind him using the flash to find the kill eventually onto Mundo. He is just too strong, he's unstoppable, finds the big tank. Bendix of course going down earlier in that fight, so it is a 1-for-1 trade.
Good that Pfizer was able to get that pick and make sure that the Baron power play is being stopped a little bit, but he might be in trouble now.
Pfizer, he might be in trouble, he is in trouble, gonna get stunned, gonna get slapped by the cow. taken down by the Alistar. Calling from Lucian coming through here. Gonna try and do as much damage as he can. Re-engage once again by the Alistar. Rusty Sniper going really low, gets taken down. But also Lular goes down in this fight, and eventually Lucian is gonna be the butt of the joke at the end of this entire fight. An ace for blue side, but there's nothing for them to pick up.
Yeah, they can push bot, maybe one turret more, and then they'll have to reset, cash in the gold that they've earned with this kill. But even here, the minion wave is not there, but Nerea's only one alive. They do not choose to keep pushing the turret. Gonna play it safe, and of course prepare for the next Drake, because that one is spawning in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Both our two Drakes, a guy that picks this one up, puts himself at soul point, and with teams like these, just like last game, you have these big beefy tanks in the front line. They really benefit from those stats from the Mountain Drake, and the shield is immense. Fights are looking for another kill of Bendix.
Bendix is in a lot of trouble, a world of trouble. Gets picked up eventually by Evelyn, and at this point, if Evelyn can keep finding picks like this, it's the second time she finds a pick onto Bendix's Orianna here, giving her some extra kills, extra gold, extra damage. That's what they're trying to do at this point, to find the picks on Evelyn and to actually get their Mundo so far ahead and their backline far ahead enough that they can start front to backing this game. That of course is another problem.
Yeah, kills left, right and center, and fights are dying there. Really troublesome, especially when the dragon is about to spawn. You need a jungler, but maybe they can finally get a pick on Jabota here.
Jabota might be going down here, doesn't really have anywhere to go, but look at the damage! Finds the kill onto Ezreal, maybe the second one onto Melix, not enough to pick up the Bard as well. Ravenous Hunter was coming through there for the heals. Now they engage in the mid lane. Also Gayul gets stunned, double stunned, triple stunned. You're not moving anywhere. Right click to move, not working for Gayul here. He just gets annihilated.
Good play by the red side overall, because they did get Jabot, and he is the key target. Of course, they lose some members afterwards. That makes it so that blue side is gonna pick up this Drake for free. Of course, not the soul yet, so it isn't the end of the world, but some nice stats for Smarty and for Zaffa. Gonna make it so hard for Rusty and Gil to take those tanks down in an orderly manner. However, Malik did do quite some damage on the Jabota there, because I was feeling the double kill for him. But the Bard set Meep in the face, not today, and he's gonna take that 1k shutdown. So it's nice for a support that you can spend a little money in the shop now and then.
Little money in the shop for him to spend. Drake gets picked up here, numero 3, of course. So that's gonna put blue side on soul point. We've talked about it before. It's a soul that they really much want to see, and it's gonna help them extend these fights even longer and hopefully be able to pick up Mundo. Also giving Kha'Zix a bit of more survivability in these fights, which of course is something that Kha'Zix is not known for. Picking up Mountain Soul is gonna help him survive these fights just a little bit longer, or Jabota going in, be able to do even more damage as Jabota is gonna go in. I have a little bit of a screen freeze. I apologize. That's a lot. That's a lot of damage. Anyways, we're back. That's a lot of damage from Jabota. Expected, of course, from him. Safa gonna be tanking this turret. Culling gonna come through. Nerea gonna try his very best to find
Smarty.
this. Oh my god!
Can he die?
Can he please go down? It's not gonna happen. And now Lular as well in the backline. But this is the point we were talking about before. Mundo is not gonna be able to go down here. His ultimate, however, has come to an end. Finding the kill, finding a second one as well. Picking up Lular there, and now it could be the turnaround for red side here. Double kill eventually going to Mundo. Thought it would have been a triple kill.
Sneaking again.
It's only Jabota going in for a sneaky play here. He's gonna be spotted on top of a ward there, so they do know he's coming. Evelyn invisible, Rusty Sniper, the rest of his team, they're all gonna be in the mid lane here looking to go for a Baron play, and this could well be the turnaround for red side that they've been looking for.
And the dream is definitely still alive for the team of Vanguard. The first game on the red side that might be a win this scouting route. They're gonna pick up this Baron, both trying to steal it with some void spikes, but he's gonna be caught out here, and this is not something he's gonna survive. 1k gold in the pocket of Rusty Sniper, and he's definitely gonna be able to use that because the team of seerees still team fight heavy, but they're really struggling with Narea's Mundo at this point.
Yeah, Mundo has come to a point where not only does he have his Sunfire Egg, is giving him a little bit of armor against Kha'Zix as well, but he has a Warmogs combined with a Force of Nature, Merc Tread, so there's loads and loads and loads of magic resistance in there. Maybe looking for a Spirit Visage as well later on here, but that's yet to come, so I don't know if that actually builds from a Giant Spell.
Don't think Spirit is right out of Giant Bell, but they're going in. Bendix in trouble.
Phoenix is in a lot of trouble here. He actually does go down eventually. Gayul here with a stopwatch, and now Nerea. Look at this guy. He's just too tanky. This is the point we talked about. They're not going to be able to kill him. And if Nerea can stay in the front line and keep the rest of the enemies busy, his backline can just dish out the damage as much as they want. They have the Ezreal and the Lucian who can just keep poking, keep auto-attacking, keep using their ability spell weaving onto the enemies to actually win these fights for themselves, as they are going to be knocking onto the enemy's door.
Look at Nerea.
Right now, Nerea just tanking. Sadism is online. I'm going to use the journey to get out of here as Rusty Sniper picks up a last cannon minion there. A very, very strange little fight, I guess it was.
Nerea just saying turret damage who, taking like 5-6 shots without seemingly losing some health. Mountain Drake spawning any second now, and it is soul points for the team of seerees, so very, very huge pickup for them if they can do this. So they are forcing the team of Vanguard to go and contest this one, and this puts Djibouti in a good spot because he can assassinate an AD carry here before the fight starts, and that's exactly what he does.
Great shockwave there by the Orianna. Gonna save her life thanks to the Malphite, who also jumps in there, and now it looks like the Mountain Soul is gonna go in favor of blue side. However, red side is still hanging around there. Not gonna be able to do a lot about this soul as it is picked up by them, and they're gonna have to pay attention here because it's gonna be really, really difficult to kill the Mundo, but it's also gonna be really difficult to kill the entire blue team.
We have to commend Djibouti for his performance this game, because he's 19-3 against players who are really, really good at the game. I mean, everyone here, Diamond Master, Grandmaster, that you can do this kind of performance several times in a row is really, really strong of him. Now they're trying to defend this inhib. Can they do it?
They are going to go for the inhibitor here. Nerea going rather low early on in this fight. Going to have to pop the Sadism as well, so they don't have that for this fight. But look at it, he's back at full health. They're not going to be able to burst him down immediately. Luna, of course, doing the same thing on the other side of the fight. Look at Nerea, going to have that stopwatch. Lucian is going to go down, so that's a lot of damage that Nerea is trying to tank for. He gets shut down as well, and it is going to look like the end of the game here. But Sniper gets burned eventually. It's going to be enough as Djibouti finds the flash execute onto the...
Is this it?
Second to last! Ah, Malphite goes down. Evelyn surviving it, but it is gonna be the end of the game. Blue side knocking onto these turrets, and with the Kha'Zix, with the Orianna and the Alistar, it should be enough for them to be able to finish the game. Evelyn does not have her up. 20 seconds at least for the first person on the red side to be able to come back into this game. And with the shockwave headbutt, everything, every single form of CC that they've got, they are able to pick up the Evelyn as well. And the first game goes to the blue side here, of course, better known as Team Series, who are now 1-up in this series. Yikes.
Yowza! And that was insane, basically, because you saw the red side Vounghuard's team coming through. They had the huge Mundo, they had Pfizer coming in left and right, being able to do some picks, and the AD carries were really struggling to get through the front line of Team Series, because you have this Malphite at the end with an Ocean Soul in his pocket. You have the Alistar that can start ulting, and there is no AD carry that you can easily pin down. No, it's Luder who does the same as the front line, just being there, stalling, has the Zonias, has the health, and yeah, eventually Blue team was able to kill Nareya first, and he was the guy that had to do the same job as 3 members of the blue side. So eventually he could not do that, and of course Djibouti 20-3 ended this game. Huge performance by him, able to pick the right targets at the right time. So we have to commend him for basically carrying that game there.
Djibouti doing a very, very good job on taking his team into the first victory of this best of 3. I'm interested to see if the team of Vanguard can actually come back from this one. It was possible, but they just were missing something to tilt its scales in their favor, and we're interested to see that in game 2. But we are going to be taking a little break here while we wait for the lobby to fill up again, so we can start the rest of this best of 3.
So get a drink, and we'll see you in a few minutes.